Welcome back to our channel, where we bring you the deepest dives into the most dramatic moments of daytime television. Today is a fantastic day to unpack the latest, explosive developments on the bold and the beautiful. Let us jump straight into the heart of the Forrester mansion, where shocking metamorphosis is taking place. The halls of Forrester Creations have long been a battlefield for power, prestige, and legacy, but the current corporate war has pushed one of its most iconic figures past the point of no return. Brooke Logan Forrester, having faced a humiliating defeat when Ridge Forrester explicitly rejected her bid for the co-CEO position, has realized that direct confrontation is no longer a viable strategy. Steffy Forrester Finnegan's iron-fisted grip on the company, her arrogant dismissal of the Hope for the Future line, and her condescending attitude have radicalized both Hope and Brooke. However, instead of retreating to lick her wounds, Brooke has made a chilling pivot. Driven by a bottomless maternal ambition to secure her daughter's future and a burning desire to usurp Steffy's authority, Brooke has decided to change her tactics entirely. She is no longer appealing to Ridge's sense of fairness or Steffy's non-existent mercy. She is going straight to the absolute top of the Forrester hierarchy, targeting the most vulnerable piece on the chessboard. The patriarch of the family, Eric Forrester, is currently experiencing a heartbreaking decline in his health. The man who built the Forrester empire from the ground up, weaving his genius into every thread of the company's history, now finds himself in a fragile, weakened state within the grand walls of the Forrester mansion. His physical vulnerability has made him a tragic figure, a lion in winter who relies on the care and comfort of his loved ones. It is within this delicate environment that Brooke has chosen to strike, masking her ruthless corporate ambitions behind the gentle, caring facade of a devoted former wife and lifelong family member. Brooke has begun spending an inordinate amount of time by Eric's bedside, fluffing his pillows, holding his trembling hands, and speaking to him in the soft, soothing tones of a woman who claims to have nothing but his best interests at heart. Yet, beneath this veneer of compassionate caregiving lies a deeply calculated psychological operation. As Brooke sits in the dimly lit, opulent bedroom of the Forrester estate, she slowly and methodically begins to poison Eric's mind against his own granddaughter. With practiced precision, she weaves a narrative of chaos, destruction, and corporate tyranny. She does not yell or demand. She whispers her concerns, framing Steffy's recent leadership decisions not as mere business disagreements, but as a catastrophic threat to the very legacy Eric spent his entire life building. Brooke paints Steffy as an aggressive, out-of-control tyrant who is systematically dismantling the collaborative, family-oriented spirit of Forrester Creations. She recounts Steffy's callous treatment of Hope and her aggressive sidelining of Zend, utilizing these real events to construct a terrifying picture of a company falling into a dark, authoritarian abyss under Steffy's unchecked rule. Brooke's manipulation is as brilliant as it is insidious because it preys directly on Eric's deepest fears, the erasure of his life's work. She softly reminds him of the golden era of Forrester Creations, an era defined by elegance, unity, and mutual respect, and sharply contrasts it with the current toxic environment Steffy has allegedly fostered. Every word Brooke speaks is designed to amplify Eric's anxieties about the future of his company when he is no longer around to guide it. She convinces the ailing patriarch that Steffy's aggressive tactics are not just bad for business, but that they are actively ruining the Forrester family legacy, tarnishing the prestigious name that Eric fought so hard to establish. By framing her corporate coup as a desperate rescue mission for Eric's legacy, Brooke masterfully disguises her own insatiable thirst for power as an act of noble preservation. The culmination of this emotional manipulation is a staggering, audacious demand that reveals the true depths of Brooke's new strategy. Having sufficiently stoked Eric's fears and positioned herself as the only rational savior of the company, Brooke presents the ailing patriarch with a formal legal document. This is not a simple request for influence or a plea for a board seat. It is a binding contract designed to grant Brooke absolute, unilateral veto power over any and all decisions made by the chief executive officer. Brooke gently places the document in front of Eric, framing it as a necessary safety net, a temporary measure to keep Steffy in check and ensure that Eric's vision is protected. In reality, this document is a weapon of mass destruction, a tool that would effectively eliminate Steffy's authority and crown Brooke as the shadow ruler of Forrester Creations, allowing her to control the company without ever needing Ridge's approval. The sheer audacity of this power grab is breathtaking, marking a profound psychological shift in Brooke's character. For decades, Brooke has been defined by her emotional impulsivity, her romantic entanglements, and her passionate, often misguided, heart. But this maneuver is cold, calculating, and ruthlessly pragmatic. It is the move of a corporate predator who has learned that love and loyalty are secondary to legal authority and leverage. Driven by Hope's radicalized demands and her own bruised ego, Brooke has crossed a moral threshold, weaponizing her intimate history with Eric and exploiting his failing health to stage a bloodless boardroom coup. She has convinced herself that the ends justify the means, entirely blinded by her own self-righteousness and her unwavering belief that she alone knows what is best for the Forrester empire. However, Brooke's insidious plot does not go unnoticed. Watching from the shadows of the Grand Mansion is Donna Logan, Eric's current partner, his devoted caretaker, and his fiercely loyal protector. Donna has spent her days meticulously tending to Eric's needs, ensuring his comfort, and fiercely guarding his peace of mind during his physical decline. As she observes Brooke's frequent visits, Donna initially believes her sister is simply offering comfort to the man they both love. But as she lingers near the doorway, listening to the cadence of Brooke's voice and the specific, calculated phrasing of her concerns about Steffy, a chilling realization begins to wash over Donna. The initial confusion gives way to a profound, sickening horror as she recognizes the true nature of Brooke's bedside manner. Donna stands frozen, her heart pounding against her ribs as she watches Brooke slide the legal document toward Eric's trembling hands. The sheer magnitude of the betrayal strikes Donna like a physical blow. She is witnessing her own flesh and blood, the sister she has defended and supported through countless scandals and heartbreaks, preying on a sick, vulnerable man for corporate leverage. Donna's internal monologue is a storm of disbelief and agony. She cannot fathom how Brooke could stoop so low, how she could look into the eyes of the man who has given them both so much and view him merely as a stepping stone to executive power. The horror Donna feels is not just about the business implications. It is a deep, soul-crushing realization of Brooke's moral decay. As Donna watches Brooke manipulate the ailing patriarch, a terrifying ghost from the past materializes in her mind. The cadence of Brooke's voice, the ruthless exploitation of family dynamics, the unyielding demand for control, it all bears an uncanny, horrifying resemblance to one specific person. In a moment of devastating clarity, Donna realizes that Brooke is actively transforming into the very woman she spent her entire life fighting, Stephanie Forrester. For decades, Stephanie was the formidable, manipulative matriarch who controlled the Forrester family with an iron fist, often using Eric's weaknesses, his guilt, and his legacy against him to maintain her dominance. Stephanie was the master of the boardroom coup, the queen of emotional blackmail, and the architect of countless schemes designed to protect her vision of the family at all costs. The historical irony of this metamorphosis is staggering. Brooke Logan, the woman who was once famously branded the enemy of the establishment, the outsider who fought tooth and nail against Stephanie's oppressive, elitist regime, has now become the establishment. In her desperate, bottomless ambition to defeat Steffy and secure her daughter's place, Brooke has adopted the exact same ruthless tactics that Stephanie once used against her. Donna watches in sheer terror as Stephanie's shadow seems to superimpose itself over Brooke's face. The transformation is complete. Brooke has lost the very essence of her humanity, trading her famously passionate heart for the cold, calculating machinery of a corporate tyrant. She has become a second Stephanie Forrester, a powerful, manipulative woman who will destroy anyone, even a sick, vulnerable man, to achieve her goals. Unable to bear the sight of this desecration any longer, Donna steps out of the shadows, her presence instantly dropping the temperature in the opulent bedroom to freezing. With the fierce, protective instincts of a lioness defending her mate, Donna physically places herself between Brooke and Eric, her eyes blazing with an unprecedented fury. The atmosphere becomes instantly electric, thick with the unspoken history and the sudden, violent collision of sisterly loyalty and moral outrage. Donna gently but firmly pulls the document away from Eric's reach, her hands trembling not with fear, but with an overwhelming, righteous anger. She looks at her sister, really looks at her, and sees a stranger standing in the place where Brooke used to be. The confrontation that erupts between the Logan sisters is nothing short of seismic. Seeking to spare Eric from the stress of their conflict, Donna silently demands that Brooke follow her out into the grand hallway of the mansion. Once the heavy oak doors click shut behind them, the dam breaks. Donna's voice, usually so sweet and accommodating, is laced with a venom and heartbreak that echoes through the cavernous halls. She explicitly accuses Brooke of losing her soul, of crossing a sacred line that can never, ever be uncrossed. With tears of rage streaming down her face, Donna lays bare the horrifying truth of Brooke's actions, calling out the manipulation, the exploitation of Eric's illness, and the sickening reality that Brooke is using a dying man to settle a petty corporate score with his granddaughter. Brooke, blinded by her own self-righteousness and the intoxicating allure of power, immediately goes on the defensive. She attempts to justify her actions, arguing with fierce conviction that she is the only one who can save the company from Steffy's destructive tyranny. Brooke passionately insists that her demand for veto power is not a selfish power grab, but a necessary, desperate measure to protect Hope's career and preserve Eric's true legacy. She completely fails to see the darkness of her own actions, her maternal drive and corporate ambition having entirely eclipsed her moral compass. Brooke genuinely believes she is the hero of this story, the righteous savior stepping in to correct a grave injustice, and she is genuinely baffled and offended by Donna's aggressive interference. But Donna is immune to Brooke's justifications. She sees right through the noble rhetoric to the rotting core of Brooke's bottomless ambition. This explosive confrontation marks a fundamental, irreparable shattering of the bond between the Logan sisters. The tragedy of this fracture is compounded by the fact that Donna is already navigating the treacherous waters of Katie's questionable motives regarding Bill Spencer and Hope. With Katie acting out of subconscious revenge and Brooke transforming into a ruthless corporate predator, Donna realizes with a heavy, breaking heart that she is the last Logan standing with an intact moral compass. The sisterhood that once defined their strength has been utterly decimated by the toxic, corrupting influence of Forrester Creations' power struggles. The dramatic climax of their confrontation ends not with a reconciliation, but with a solemn, unbreakable vow. Standing her ground in the grand hallway, her posture rigid with determination, Donna looks her sister dead in the eye and makes a chilling declaration of war. She vows, with every fiber of her being, to protect Eric Forrester from Brooke's insatiable, bottomless ambitions. Donna makes it explicitly clear that Brooke will never again be allowed to manipulate Eric, that she will personally stand as a human shield between the ailing patriarch and Brooke's toxic machinations. The line has been drawn in the sand, and Donna has firmly chosen her side, prioritizing the man she loves over the sister who has lost her way. The broader implications of this sisterly war are catastrophic for the entire Forrester canvas. If Brooke had succeeded in securing that veto power, the fallout would have been apocalyptic, effectively dethroning Steffy and plunging the company into a legal and operational nightmare. But even with Donna's intervention, the damage is done. The impending explosion, when Ridge and Steffy inevitably discover that Brooke attempted to manipulate a sick, vulnerable Eric for corporate leverage will be a spectacle of unprecedented proportions. Ridge, who is already scrambling in a state of desperate panic to mitigate the fallout between his wife and daughter, will be forced to confront the horrifying reality of what Brooke has become. The stakes have never been higher, and the impending collision threatens to level the entire Forster empire. Ultimately, the tragedy of Brooke Logan is a masterful study in irony and the corrupting nature of power. In her lifelong, desperate quest to defeat the oppressive legacy of the Forster matriarch, she has unwittingly inherited it. By adopting Stephanie's most toxic traits, the manipulation, the exploitation of vulnerability, the absolute belief that her way is the only way, Brooke has destroyed her own moral high ground. The emotional toll this dark metamorphosis will take on the entire canvas is immeasurable. The Forster mansion, once a symbol of family unity and enduring love, has been transformed into a cold, calculating battlefield. As the storm clouds of this corporate and familial war gather over Los Angeles, the dramatic atmosphere is thick with impending doom, leaving fans breathless as they wait to see who will survive